a scientific conference. By and large, the Research Week will provide an opportunity for KNUST staff and students to engage with other academics, practitioners, policymakers, industrial partners, and beneficiaries to promote, enrich, grow, and enhance the relevance of our research. We are taking this opportunity to highlight our niche areas of expertise as far as our research is concerned. The event will also serve as a platform to celebrate the hard work and dedication of KNUST's researchers, our committed principal investigators, and all who, through diverse ways, have supported our research efforts. We would also celebrate the seminal role our Office of Grants and Research, OGR, has played for the past 10 years in providing professional assistance in research administration and management. It is not for nothing, ladies and gentlemen, that accomplished, and I mean very accomplished, distinguished entrepreneurs have been invited to be part of this occasion, so they could also share their success stories with academia on how to turn our research findings and output into viable ventures. We are indeed grateful to all our speakers, the chair of the planning committee, Professor Ibokodro and her team, the director of OGR and his team, and all who have had the sleepless nights in ensuring that we get a very, very successful KNUST Research Week. On behalf of council and on behalf of management, I say aiko to all of you. You can clap, I won't collect any money from you. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you. I want to thank you all for coming and wish us all a fruitful Research Week, a fruitful Tech Confab 2023, and a very happy 10th anniversary. I thank you all very much. Thank you.
A round of applause. As she said, nobody's collecting money today, so give her a round of applause as she takes her seat, our Vice Chancellor. I think I'd like to welcome Professor Kwesi Obridanso, our former Vice Chancellor. Good morning, sir. We also do have a past Pro VC and one of the chairmen for the committee who organized the Research Week, Professor Peter Donko. Good morning to you, sir. It's been weeks and weeks and lots of meetings putting this together, the Research Week. But one may wonder, why the Research Week? So to give the general overview of what this Research Week is all about, please permit me to call the Director for OGR, Professor Ncheje, to give a general overview of this very, very important celebration. And of course, before she even starts, I'd like to congratulate him on the 10th anniversary of OGR.
Anita, thank you very much. Nana, Council Chair, please permit me to stand on the already established protocol by our dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Rita Akwesua-Dixon. Nana Council Chair, I am honored this morning to be part of this historic gathering for the opening ceremony of the Median KNUST Research and the 10th anniversary of the Office of Grants and Research, popularly known as OGR. The Office of Grants and Research was established in 2013 under the Vice Chancellor's Office to facilitate the implementation and growth of the university's research agenda. The Office supports the growth of the research agenda of the university through the provision of grants and research support services to researchers across the university. As a service provider, Nana Council Chair, the office liaises with faculties and administrators and provides support and drive their research and funding initiative with the ultimate aim of advancing the strategic goals of KNUST in the area of research and knowledge dissemination. The office provides pre- and post-award support through identification of funding sources, assistance in proposal preparation, proposal submission, and oversight of the financial and non-financial components once an award has been secured. To make our services more accessible to our researchers across the university, the office has decentralized most of its services at the college level since February 2022. Research support and administration in contemporary times demands different skill sets. To this end, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce that the office is building a strong team, robust systems, and sustainable operations to propel KNUST research trajectory and global impact. In the near future, Nana Council Chair OGR will expand its administrative capabilities for proposal writing to support our researchers, as well as its physical infrastructure to meet the ever-growing need for its services. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Office of Grants and Research is 10 years, and 10 years in the life of any person or organization is a significant milestone that is worth celebrating. The office has come this far, and we need to be thankful to the Lord for his grace and guidance. We say, Ebenezer, this is how far you have brought OGR, and we are extremely grateful. Can we clap for the Lord for bringing us this far? As an office, we have facilitated the growth of KNUST grants portfolio and a thriving research culture among staff and students, and we are well placed to drive the NUC's research intensive agenda. As part of the Research Week and OGR 10 celebrations, the Office of Grants and Research under the Vice Chancellor's Office and the Research Week Committee have put together a series of activities to mark the Research Week and the 10th anniversary of the Office of Grants and Research. Indeed, I need to stress that the celebrations and the Research Week started last Saturday with a wellness meet-up, which was well attended by our researchers across the 6 colleges of the university. After today's opening ceremony, there will be a 2-day KNUST scientific conference on Tuesday and Wednesday. This conference will provide a platform to integrate ideas from many years of research collaborations and advance knowledge towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. These median scientific conference will also showcase and promote research among our researchers, postgraduate students, industry partners, and national and international collaborators. Nana Council Chair, I am pleased to inform you that we received over 400 abstracts from 13 different institutions across the country. Additionally, can we clap for the committee who did that, please? Additionally, abstracts were also submitted from the University of Lomé and the Lagos State University in Nigeria. We cannot undertake any meaningful research without adequate funding, yet attracting funds for scientific research in the country has become increasingly competitive in the face of dwindling funding opportunities, partly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We therefore need to strengthen the capacity of our researchers and students to become more competitive in attracting grants. To this end, Nana Council Chair, on Thursday, we are devoting the entire day to OGR at 10, and there will be a symposium on the path to research impact, grantsmanship, and commercialization. This symposium will provide insights into how we can source resources to conduct high-quality research and translate the findings into tangible resource for a wide range of end users. This symposium is particularly important for our early career researchers and postgraduate researchers. We need to expose our postgraduate students to the rudiments of proposal development and how to commercialize our research findings into end products that are beneficial to humanity. Nana Council Chair, to inculcate research into our students from their early stages, on Friday morning, the university, as part of the research week, will open her doors to students from some selected junior high schools in our catchment area to enhance their exposure to career opportunities in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics research. These students will have the opportunity to visit different laboratories and art studios across the 6 colleges of the universities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am also pleased to announce that the week-long activities will be climaxed on Friday evening with the median Research Excellence Awards ceremony. The essence of the 2023 Research Excellence Awards is to recognize and celebrate researchers and supporting staff who have made outstanding contributions to the grant portfolio and the research agenda or enterprise of our university. 9 categories of individuals and organizations will be awarded at this Research Excellence Award ceremony. These include Best Early Career Researcher, Best Mid-Career Researcher, Distinguished Researcher, Best Innovation and Best Research Support. For that, we have senior members, senior staff, and junior staff, Best Research Center, and the Best Research College. Our approvals are here, and I'm just imagining which of the 6 will take the coveted Best Research College. Additionally, special awards will be given to institutions and organizations and individuals who have made significant contributions to the grants and research enterprise of the university. Nana Council Chair, please permit me to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for the unflinching support by management of the university, led by our dear Vice Chancellor, for making available the necessary resources and facilities for the Office of Grants and Research to champion the research intensiveness agenda of our great university. The advisory board of the Office of Grants and Research, chaired by our Pro-Vice Chancellor, deserves special mention for their guidance and advice. I would also like to express my heartfelt appreciation to former directors of the Office of Grants and Research, Professor Peter Donko, for his leadership in establishing the OGR and for laying a very strong foundation for the office. And for Professor Robert Clement Abedu for the significant growth experience during his tenure as the Director of Office of Grants and Research. Nana Council Chair, I need to stress the significant role played by that whom the Knust research enterprise will not even exist in the first place. It is my hope and prayer that the university community will fully participate in these activities and that our postgraduate students will take full advantage of the scientific conference to get feedback on the various researches they are conducting. Long live the Office of Grants and Research. Long live KNUST. Long live Ghana. Thank you, and God richly bless us all.
All right, a round of applause. There wasn't much excitement about the award ceremony. I don't know why. I mean, we all get excited, or is it tension? Who is going to win the coveted college research of the year? I'm throwing it to the provost because I'm on the committees, and when we saw the abstract, some of the colleges, hey, you didn't get the memo. Some too got the memo and they understood the assignment. It's going to be an interesting Thursday. A round of applause for all researchers. We are very grateful for our speakers who have joined us today. We're going to listen to them, but before, let's prepare the way with a bit of music from Ejako Nimo. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Ejako Nimo.
Or rule to find the cold water as in the north. It has been manipulative skill to swim from tree to tree as the monkeys do, but it has a brain. To be developed language is an important tool in civilization. In Greece, in their letter, made an interesting observation. If you divide the circumference of a circle by the diameter, you get the figure 22/2. If you want to expand it, you get 3.14. You will come to an end, universal law. Nanano, Akomo, Brikumo, a song for nation building.
It's always good to hear Jacko at the ceremony. A round of applause one more time. Jacko, thank you very, very much. Well, let's continue to share a few pleasantries before we call our first speaker for the morning. We'd like to say good morning to our internal auditor, Mr. Moses Isikwe. Good morning, sir. We have Professor Ibok Odro, chairperson for the Research and OGR 10 week. Prof, morning. Let me say good morning to provosts gathered here this morning. We have the provost for the College of Science, Professor Leonard Amakuji. Good morning. We do have the provost for the College of Health Sciences, Prof. Christian Ejari. Good morning. We have provost for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Prof. Charles Malfo. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Provost for the College of Agric and Natural Resources, Professor Ben Banfo. Thank you very much for being here, sir. Provost for Arts and Built Environment, Professor John Bouguet. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for being here. And the Provost for the College of Engineering, Professor Kwabnabri Chumnyako. Good morning, sir. I think. All right, and we have the Director of Student Affairs, Professor Wilson Ejari. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. All deans who have come, we really appreciate your presence. Good morning to you. Kindly permit me to welcome our very first keynote speaker. His name is Professor Richard M.K. Adanu. He's the rector for the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, and he'll be speaking on succeeding in innovative research in a resource-constrained context. Very, very important. A round of applause as he takes up the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Professor Richard M.K. Adanu, Rector for the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Chairman of Council and special guest of honor for this ceremony, the Vice Chancellor of the University, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Provosts, Deans and Directors, other leaders of the University, senior members, students of the University and our students from the senior high school, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. My thanks goes to the University Management and the Planning Committee of this Research Week for inviting me to speak at this opening ceremony. I would also like to commend the university for establishing this university-wide research conference. In many universities, it is common to see different units of the university organize research conferences in their areas of expertise, and there are good reasons for doing so. But a university-wide research conference is a major statement. Such a conference clearly communicates that research excellence is very important to the university, and this conference also provides a platform for people to be exposed to research outside their traditional fields. Such exposure can serve as the eye-opener to opportunities for collaborative multidisciplinary research. As has been mentioned earlier, the theme for this Research Week is Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Science and Technology for a Sustainable Future. I'm going to focus on the innovation aspect of the theme and take approximately the next 20 or so minutes to talk about how to succeed in innovative research in a resource-constrained environment. This talk is probably more relevant for upcoming researchers, but I hope it also stimulates established and successful researchers to review the paths to their own successes so that this becomes a useful mentoring tool for them. Whenever the word innovative is used, many people today tend to think of groundbreaking work and advanced technology, especially leaning towards ICT, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. It's, however, very clear that there is a need to have access to appropriate resources to be successful in innovative work. However, one thing that we sometimes forget is that innovation simply means the use of new, advanced, and original ways of addressing issues. We tend to focus on the word advanced in that definition of innovation and forget new and original. So that means that it's possible for us to come out with innovations without the use of all the advanced ICT technology or machine learning that we are talking about. We can do that. But even if we do not restrict ourselves to the term advanced in the definition, we still need resources. Even if we do not need major resources for the work, we need resources to meet our basic needs so that once those basic needs are settled, we can think about innovation. We are in a science university, so I'm sure you've all heard about Isaac Newton and gravity. There are different stories about how Isaac Newton started thinking about gravity. Some people say that it was because he was sitting under an apple tree and an apple fell on his head. Then that made him begin to ask questions. Other people say it was because he stood by an apple tree and wondered why the apples fell straight downwards and not upwards or to the sides. Whichever way it is, like some people have said, if Isaac Newton were hungry, he would have focused on eating those apples. I mean, the apple that fell on his head, you'd have picked it and eaten it and waited for the next one, or probably gone up into the tree to get more apples. But it's assumed that because Isaac Newton was well-fed, that's why he had the time to think about gravity when an apple fell on his head. Maybe that is true. But it's also possible that Isaac Newton could have been hungry, but had a questioning mind. Having a questioning mind is probably the first step to succeed in innovative research. It is important to observe how things are done and then ask why these things are done this way, or ask whether there is a better way of doing that. A person who does not do this cannot be innovative. At the risk of getting you to choose to go and scrutinize my research, I'll tell you that one of the first things I did when I was doing my postgraduate training in obstetrics and gynecology was to conduct research into the different ways of managing a condition that we call a ruptured uterus. When a woman is about to deliver and due to some obstruction, a tear happens in the womb and she loses the baby. And the reason why I chose to do this was that as a young resident coming up in that field, I realized that there were many different types of surgeries that people did. Some people quickly took out the whole uterus. Other people repaired the tear and tied the tubes. And other people repaired the tear but did not tie the tubes. And when they tie the tubes, that means the woman cannot be pregnant again, because after a ruptured uterus, I mean, when you get pregnant again, there's a risk that it's going to rupture. And you may say that, well, if they did these different things, there must have been different types of tears. But then I assisted different people as a junior. And I noticed that for a type of tear that looked the same, people would do different things. So I asked myself, why on earth do they do these different things? And that led me to do one of the first things I did, looking at ruptured uterus and the different ways of repairing it. And that greatly informed how I went about handling ruptured uterus when I was in practice. It's important to have a questioning mind, and you ask why things are done in a particular way and whether there's a better way. That is the first step to becoming innovative. However, in an economy like ours, the need to meet basic needs of food, housing, children's education, and general family support can greatly affect success in innovative research. This need leads us to focus on salary and how much we can earn. These are important issues, but they can also serve as a source of distraction in any career path. A person who sets off in a particular career direction and who is overly concerned about what other people in other careers earn is not likely to be successful in that career or in any other career. There are people who, whilst they are in a particular job, most of their energy is going on to checking what people in other jobs that they could have been in are earning, and telling themselves that they would have been better off over there. Then they move off to the new job, and then after a while in that new job, they are looking around again. And the truth is that anything that can be counted actually never satisfies. Whatever amount you earn, there's somebody who's going to earn one more than you. And when you get that one more, somebody else would earn another one. So it's best to choose a career path and focus on how to excel in that career while increasing the marketability and revenue from that career, rather than thinking of quickly jumping ship to benefit from the gains that others have created elsewhere. So as researchers, we must ask ourselves, how can we increase the marketability of our research? And how can we make sure that the revenue from our research increases, rather than watching other people and saying that we had classmates who are working in, and students of ours who are equally committed to the pathway of success in innovative research. And who will approach that goal of succeeding in innovative research by the same ethical and moral standards that we subscribe to. I remember some years back when I was studying for my MPH in the US, and one of my lecturers then came up to me. I think I was in his office, we were talking, and then he asked me that, have I noticed that many of them come together to develop grants and submit? And I said, yes, I've noticed that. Then he asked me that, Richard, you think we are friends? And I was like, now where's this question going to? If you have your problem with your colleague next door, why are you drawing me into this? And I looked confused. He said, no, tell me, do you think we are friends? Do you think I'm friends with all the guys around that I write these grants with? I said, well, probably not. He said, yes, we are not necessarily friends. But then those who give the grants realize that it is not possible for one person to have all the knowledge in his head to write a good grant. So they have created certain rules around the grants that make it that I have to go to the next office to other people, group with them, and put a grant forward. I think the whole thought behind that is that you cannot do successful innovative research on your own, in your office or in your room. You know, that thing that they taught us in school, I know that they are still teaching you in school. That when you are writing an exam, if you are right-handed, you write with your right hand and then you cover with your left hand so that nobody can see what you are writing. I think that is the one lesson that we have never forgotten from school. And we carry that all the way into the university in our research. So I'm writing a grant, and I write it in the corner of my room. When somebody is coming, I quickly cover it with the sports papers, as if that's what I was reading. I write it in the corner of my room. I don't let anybody proofread it. I read my mistakes, and I'm convinced that that is really great information that I've put down. Then when you submit the grant and you don't succeed, you wonder why. It's because you assumed that you were the doyen of knowledge, and nobody is. There's a need for us to work in teams before we can be successful in innovative research. So we need to look around and identify those colleagues and students who have the same goals of research as we do. But more importantly is that they must subscribe to the same ethical and moral standards that we subscribe to. See, ethics and morals are a very crucial aspect of the human resource side of this equation. Even though I'll not be pointing out what is right and wrong in ethics and morals, let me just say that people achieve success by different means. And they still get what looks like success by totally different means. And it is necessary to take time to be sure that the people you work with also agree with the methods you choose. One thing to remember when we are getting a team together is that birds of a feather flock together. And if you go pick people who subscribe to different ways of achieving the goal than you subscribe to, I mean, that team is not likely to last. So since it is impossible to succeed in anything you choose to go it alone in, you will definitely need to have a team. So now, if you've been listening carefully, the question you'll be asking is that, okay, so I've got a question in mind. I've got the right mindset and attitude. I'm not looking in the other person's pot to see what he or she is eating. And I've either put together or I've joined a great research team. But then we still need research funds and a great lab, don't we, to be able to do innovative research. One of the biggest challenges to research in Ghana and many other low middle-income countries is the lack or low volume of local funds available for research. In the US, the researchers have research funds from institutions like the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, which researchers can compete for to address the country's research priorities. The UK has institutions like the Wellcome Trust, and other high-income countries have their counterpart institutions, which fund research. So their researchers apply, they get grants, and they conduct research. They have their research agenda. So that means that the problem is poverty, isn't it? No, it's not. The problem is not poverty. The problem is misplaced national priorities. It's not poverty. And some of us who are aware that these countries have research grants, and as the money that they are giving gets bigger, the conditions around the money also gets tighter. As the money gets bigger, they tell you that there must be lead or co-lead people who are linked to institutions in their country. And some of us get upset with that. Basically, what we are saying is that why won't the US government or the UK government just give money to a bunch of us Ghanaians? I mean, give us like $20 million. I mean, five, six Ghanaians. I see two of my friends right in front of me here. The three of us could have got together and got $20 million US for a grant without any US link to it. Why won't the US do that for us so that we do research? When people say that, I stop and ask them, if the government of Ghana were giving out research funds competitively, and they took not even $20 million, 20 million cedis, and gave them to 3 Nigerians not working in Ghana, would applaud the government, wouldn't we? We'll say the government has done very well. No, we'll begin to talk. They are Ghanaian researchers, and why don't they give it? And these Nigerians, you know what they do with the money? I mean, how do you know that they are going to go and do the research? They'll just cook results. Well, that's what the US people too say. That is their thinking. Because if they gave the three of us $20 million, we might have cut our career short early and be doing very well in Ghana right now. All we'll do is I won't travel back to the US. And there are many other countries apart from the US to go to. You know, we'll invest that, and when you see us, you'll realize that we really know how to handle $20 million. So it's misplaced national priorities. That is our problem. You see, if our governments cannot create national research funding agencies, then they need to create a business environment to force successful businesses and wealthy individuals to set up such agencies. I'll take another example from the US that somebody told me. When you die, the exact figures, if you take all the money and share amongst your children, it's an inheritance gift. Those children are going to be taxed big time on that inheritance gift. Probably like 60–70% of your money is going to go to the government. And over there, they know how to track the money that you get. It's not like over here where you are earning your university salary, then you are doing some consultancy somewhere, doing something else. It's all filtering to your account and nobody knows. And the only one that you pay proper tax on is the salary. Because the truth is that if they add it all, at some point the tax, you enter a certain tax bracket. But hey, Ghana income tax, it doesn't catch us. So we are all doing it. In the US, they'll know that this is the amount that you've got. Any money that you get, they know it, and they'll tax you appropriately. So you just leaving your money to your children like that, like 70% of that money you're giving to the US government. However, if you take some portion of that money and give it to a charitable organization or give it to NIH to do research funds, there's zero tax on it. So the environment, the legal environment forces people to be generous. Even if deep in your heart you don't want to do malaria research, you have to do malaria research. You think Bill Gates is just throwing his money out because he doesn't want it to go to the US government for them to go and do things that he doesn't support. So he's got to send it out for malaria research and all that. So the country creates that environment. And that's what we need to do. We need to create a business environment that forces successful businesses and wealthy individuals to set up such research funding agencies. Appropriate tax reliefs and related policies can result in the setting up of such research funding institutions that we, the researchers, can apply to locally to compete for research funds. So there's a major role to be played by our governments in ensuring that we succeed in innovative research. I mean, we on our own cannot do it. And our government must be told over and over and over again, if there isn't enough in the national cake to put into research, force the successful companies, and there are a number of them around, put up laws that would make them set up research funds that we can compete for. We're not saying give it to us for free. We'll bring proposals, you put the rules there, and we compete for it. So government needs to do a lot. So at this point, the researchers are saying that, yeah, that's it. It's not us, it's government. You know, government, the most abused animal in any country. Anything is government, let government do it. So we're all sitting there that's saying that, okay, so we'll wait for government. But you see, we cannot continue to wait for Godot. We cannot. If you sit here waiting for Godot and Godot doesn't come, then that Godot was not even known by anybody. Nothing would happen. So while advocating for Ghanaian research funding agencies to be set up, talking to our government so that they get funds dedicated for research that we, the researchers, can compete for to do innovative research, we need to put Plan B into action. So Plan B is that you must go where the research funds are found. So at this time, I'm feeling the Vice Chancellor's palpitations that I brought this man here and he's telling my staff that they should move to America and Europe to get funds. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to relocate, get on the plane and move to high-income countries. But we need to be able to benefit from external funding agencies because they also fund researchers who are neither nationals of their countries nor staff of their national institutions. But there are rules. There are small amounts that they give to startup researchers that anybody can apply for without having somebody from their country there. That's small money. They are willing to let that money go if you don't do the work. But as the money gets bigger, they want researchers from other countries to work with researchers in their country, and they'll give you the fund. But the key message here is that they fund researchers. They fund researchers. Researchers by practice, not researchers by profession. You saying that I'm a researcher doesn't necessarily mean you are a researcher. They want evidence to show that you're a researcher. They fund researchers by action and not researchers by words. So you have the calm mind, you have the questioning mind, you have the right attitude, you've got your team together. It is necessary to get into a serious huddle with that team and ask, what research can we conduct, publish, conduct, complete, and publish with available funds? What are these available funds? Available funds can be personal pooled funds from the team, personal pooled funds from the team, or money from university grants. I mean, the first few things I did in research were funded from my salary. And that's university lecturer's salary. So if you think it was, I was working for Microsoft then, no, it was university lecturer's salary. So knowing that it's research I wanted to do, cut some of the money. Because see, the thing is that when they tell you that your salary will not be enough, you must accept it. It won't be enough. That means that you are going to die even if you live on that whole salary. So just take some off. You still die anyway. You understand? Take some off. So when you see your salary is not enough, that actually means that you can take some off because you are going to die anyway from hunger. So take some off, put it aside, and get to do some research. The first few things I did were from that. And because see, the thing is that you need to do that, complete that research, and publish it so that people know that you exist. So these funds, either personal funds or funds from university grants, should be used to carry out relatively small, feasible local projects, which you then go and publish in international journals. And beware of the predatory journals. The journal that tells you that submit your paper, and in 48 hours we'll have it published. No, it's too fast. When your students give you their work to read, how long do you take to read it? Then you say 48 hours and they're publishing your work. You should beware of those. And we can, and those journals that it is issue 1, volume 1, please be careful. You understand? They are really, really dangerous. Wait for other people to publish and get in when it's issue 10 or something like that. Not issue 1. So publish this in recognized international journals. And this same fund should be used to support attending international conferences to present your local research. I remember when I was finishing my postgraduate training, I was funded to go to do a 3-month attachment in the US. And at that time, when I went there, the hospital that I went to, the head of department got me to attend a big conference. That's the International Federation of Gynecology and Obstetrics, the FIGO Congress. It was in DC. So he actually paid for me to move from Michigan to DC, and I attended the Congress. And when I sat there and saw the knowledge that was all around, and this conference was every 3 years, I'll attend every 3 years, FIGO. So 2003, it was in Chile. I said, I'll go to Chile. So I wrote to many places, asked them for money. They said no. I mean, I actually got funded by the government of Ghana to go to Chile because I walked into the chief executive, that was Professor Frimpong, but he walked into his office and said, I've got to go for this conference. And he was like, okay, there's some money that Kolebu has, but you have to go and get the ministry to release it to you. So I walked up there, walked in offices, talked. Well, they bought my ticket. It can be done. See, there's money around. If you just have to be obtuse and dog-headed like I can be in a resource-constrained environment, and you'd get it. So I just got the airfare there, but I used my own money to move around and presented my research in those conferences. You see, when you present your local research at international conferences, people notice you. Once you do a good job, they notice you and say that, they say things like, hey, we thought these Africans couldn't even speak English. They can actually speak English, and they are talking good science. You see, don't be upset when they say those things. Just kind of get on the boat. You understand? That's not what we are dealing with here. Get on the boat, and if they are good people, you join them for research. You see, people are looking for collaborators from low, middle-income countries, and they would only approach you if they know that you exist. So let's put some skin in the game. Let's put some of our own money in and let them notice us. And if you make this investment, you will get collaborators. But once again, as the collaborators appear, you need to do the human resource ethics and morals test, because some of them are not the best people to work with. And when you get into these collaborative groups, your focus should be access to data and publications, and not payment for services. The payment for services will come with time. I remember the first time I was invited to join a research group. They were actually bringing me on as program manager because somebody has spoken highly of me that he can organize things. So I had this interview with them, and they said, so what do you want out of this? And I said, I want data. That time I was a young lecturer in the university. Had more hair on my head and several pounds less. I said, I want data. Then the guys looked at me, Professor Alan Hill from Harvard, then looked at me and said, do you realize what you're asking for? If you want to have access to the data, then we cannot pay you for what you are doing. And I asked him that, have we talked about money since we started this interview? And he knew that he was dealing with a stark, raving madman. But then I got on that team. I mean, we paid those who worked huge amounts. I think at the end, it got like, was it $200 or something? But I had access to the data. The Women's Health Study of Accra, the first wave. And for those of you who are saying that we must check this man out, whether he's fake or not, when you go and realize many of the things that I published were from the Women's Health Study of Accra. That was the first one. By the second wave, so I just jobbed and sat with trying. The second wave, I was on as co-PI, and my time was paid for. So don't focus on payments for services. That will come. You need to work hard and distinguish yourself in these groups. And you also need to learn from the more experienced international researchers who are usually found in such groups. As part of these groups, you'll eventually get some international research grants, small, medium, or big. You'll get to know the cutting-edge things happening in the field, and you'll begin to come up with innovative questions and methods together with your colleagues. You'll soon get the chance to co-lead and lead grant applications, and your time and effort will be covered by the grant. As you continue, you will grow to become an invited resource person to meetings in your field as your publications and research portfolio grow. All this sounds nice, but it is real hard work. It involves learning from the more experienced people around you. It involves doing the heavy lifting, and sometimes doing that for free. It involves paying the fees of being used by some people to work without them giving you the credit, being left out of certain meetings. Just a few weeks ago, I was reading through a book and saw a meeting that some of my collaborators had gone for. Their pictures were all there. I was like, well, they didn't invite me, because I was working hard on that thing but that was years ago, and I laughed about it. So sometimes you don't even know what you've been left out of until later. And but in spite of all these setbacks, you grit your teeth, you take a deep breath, and you smile. You must always keep a smile on. It must always look like things are fine. You smile and press on because of your unwavering commitment to be a successful, innovative researcher, despite being in a resource-constrained setting. So I shout out to all the young, upcoming researchers, give it your best shot. Your work will change many lives. And to the established, successful researchers, tell the young ones the stories of your struggles and successes, and use your influence to open doors for them. And let us all continue the advocacy to get our governments to establish a national research funding program so that we can have successful, innovative researchers, not only from KNUST, but from the whole of Ghana. Thank you.
Well, that's worth another round of applause. Thank you so much, Professor Richard M. Adanu. I hope you picked a few, both middle, young, and already established researchers. Usually when we invite Kojo Awotey to programs. He has a way of sensing the atmosphere, picking a few lines, and making it incredible. As we take a breather before we invite our second speaker, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Kojo Awote.
I go. Oh, I'm on free. I go. Can I get a smile? This smile can't take me a mile. Can you do it in a grand style? Mr. Yes, sir. No one done here, John, sir. A John, sir, done on a man question a simple yin semqua. Ubi a string, so a John, sir, one, sir. So no free intense, sir. They are on tense, sir. I greet you, Vice Chancellor. To all dignitaries here, I greet you. Ejako niwo, Papa, Michiao. Michiachao. Adiachi bia. Timi mama machi. Michiamo. Mwanka obonsamba makache toche mo. Senko obe pimpim mo se aponchi etuma sese banche. So nyame adoye nti. Bonsama waisa wawaye. Miren samnam. Miren samanam. Miren samanam oh miren samanam. Miren samanam. In some way, in some way pi. In some no more pi. These words will make you happy, because these words are sweeter than hello wapi. Within pennies for nyansa, when a man se jolomi, ama inka komu se zomi. Tiwe nya o condemn se alomi. We yen sempa, ti musempa. In some way ampa, in some word peace pampa. Mirin samnam. Ibidi body a ice water in swimming, you know. Yes, yogurt, yes. So media made in some the quetching. Made in some now. Maswaswa and Sansama swaswa, mammy 3 humpa swaswa. Mikai, Edano, me call Kaswa. Me will say, New may be a Kaswa. Na me tell you so be Kenyans a sem na me see nyans a semon kwa de kwadwo me de ma adwen beswa ti they say your friend me kwadwo baswa vrize nyans a semon kwa de kwadwo beswa maswa so ansensem aso ma they say French ni hia me na o chia me bonjour a me just bonsoir maswa so ansensem aso me ko gina chinchinga ho a abochi ma me bonsoir. It is someone. I have a message to tell. So compress. These words are heavy, but let me compress. I came to tell the truth as it is. The truth lies naked, but I don't want to disturb your eyes, so let me add a dress so that I can make meaning of my address. Debbie, obi koto se krachi bi sakete. Ansi o hwe krachi o sakete de ani ofri kete krachi. Ignorance, we say, is a disease. And without research, our world will be indeceased. So the good book says that lack of knowledge, my people, lack of knowledge, my people perish. So research is something we all need to cherish. Because without it, we don't acknowledge knowledge. In no time, our minds will be filled with garbage. And our world will be stinking cabbage. You see, asem no kre, ye kayan to save. Idi adwin de echi nso a, e be twa. So before I go, ebi ana me nsem no, the way I see come nsem na ya say, my sofu bi a, me di asre sem come nsem. Misre, me kum chacha. But only came so that my words will drum in your ears. Kum cha, kum cha, kum cha cha. And at the end, this is not a Ghanaian movie, but you know I told you so. Akacha, ni apacha.
Thank you so much, Kojo. I will take a round of applause. I think we have not said hello to some of the students who have joined us today. So, students of KNUST SHS, good morning. Thank you very much for being here. And students from Ejoso SHS, good morning to you as well. I hope you are learning a few, and very soon we'll be having researchers out of you. Thank you so much for coming. Nana Chair, Vice Chancellor, at this juncture, I'd like to call our second keynote speaker. Her name is Mrs. Kosi Yanke Aye. She's the Chief Executive Officer for Ghana Enterprises Agency. She'll be speaking on the future of entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mrs. Kosi Yanke Aye.
Good morning, everyone. Chairman of the University Council of KNUST, Ambassador Danefa Appenting, the Vice Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosia-Dixon, the past Vice Chancellors, Pro-Vice Chancellors, the Registrar, Rector of the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, Professor Richard Adanu, the Deans and Directors, heads of departments, lecturers, researchers, graduate students, industry partners, policy makers, students, invited guests, friends from the media, all protocol duly observed. Good morning to you all once again. I was very happy to come after Dr. Adanu, Professor Adanu, and really listen to what he had to say. There are a few things that stuck with me, and I just want to repeat them. I know my speech today is the future of entrepreneurship, and it's something that I have done for many years. I ventured into entrepreneurship when I was 21 years old, and it's something that I have lived with, I've researched and worked with for many years. But as Professor spoke, one thing that resonated was the importance of teamwork. Many times, we tend to want to go at it alone, but teamwork is the foundation of everything that we seek to do. And it's very important. Many times, we want to just say that I did this by myself, but it doesn't work like that. So as I was actually sitting and listening to him, I tend to look at this banner on the stage, and I saw Research Week, and it just stuck with me. And I asked myself, what are we searching for? Really? What are we searching for? What are we researching? What questions are we asking? If entrepreneurship is the future, and the future is entrepreneurship, what questions are we asking to solve this problem, challenge, or asset? Are we searching for the right things? Are we coming together to solve the right societal problems that entrepreneurs can then take to transform our economy, our society? Are we just searching for searching's sake? Because it's easier to just research on what we want to do. And it's some of the challenges that I see as we talk about the future of entrepreneurship and as we move for a stronger entrepreneurial nation. I know there's a lot of money. As Professor mentioned, there is so much money. But why are we not finding it? Why are we not getting what we want? I took over as CEO of the Ghana Enterprises Agency at a very interesting time in 2017. I just graduated from Harvard University with a master's in public policy and public administration. And one of the topics that I had really researched on was how do we use women and build women businesses to be the foundation of the economy? And how was I going to raise $500 million to actually push and drive this agenda? It was interesting when I took up the institution then, which was the National Board for Small-Scale Industries. And the NBSSI was set up to do this. And my research paper had spoken about how this institution could actually be the driving and the game changer. But when I took up the role, this institution had less than 1 million Ghana cedis. How was I going to do this? It was going to take teamwork. It was going to take data, and it was going to take research for me to show that the future of entrepreneurship in Ghana was important. And to date, I can say that I've raised over 2 billion Ghana cedis because I was able to work with people to drive this agenda. I'm not here to really talk about myself, but I actually bring greetings from Accra and the Ghana Enterprises Agency, the transformed institution. Ghana Enterprises Agency is one of the most, and should be one of the most powerful institutions in this nation. And why do I say that? Because if this institution is not strong, then the research for industry will not be relevant. If we can't strengthen this institution, then what we've designed and researched and written will continue to sit on our shelves forever, because the industries will not exist. So today, I'm honored to be invited to be the guest speaker for the opening ceremony of this really august program. I believe this program is held annually, the Research Week, and I strongly believe that the Research Week, with the theme this year of innovation and entrepreneurship in science and technology for a sustainable future, is a laudable idea, as it seeks to bring together all the relevant stakeholders, the researchers, the policy makers, the national and international collaborators, the industry partners, the students, the future leaders who are sitting here with us. This job is not for one person. And unless we come together and say where and who the stakeholders are, we will not achieve what we seek. I also think it's really important to showcase the innovative research being carried out at KNUST. And most importantly, to find ways of commercializing these innovative research and make them relevant for society, which will then lead to successful entrepreneurship and a sustainable future. To me, this is the best way of showcasing KNUST to the world, for the world needs to know about this university and what it is made of and what is going on here at KNUST. All this at a time when the world is grappling to deal with issues and challenges that we are confronted with on a daily basis. We know most of them: deforestation, issues of migration, food security, climate change, pandemics, artificial intelligence, unemployment, in order to create a sustainable future for ourselves, our children, and future generations. This work is so important. And why do I say so? Most of the times, we only think about the trees we sit under, but it's important for us to think about the future of our children and also this great nation. But on a lighter note, I'm happy to be here because my grandfather, Professor Kankam Chumberima, once taught in this great institution at the agricultural school and was the head of the department. And I've heard so many stories about tech because my mother and her siblings would not stop talking about tech and tech primary. So I'm very happy to be here to see for myself so that when I go back, I can tell them that I have seen it. So my theme for this week and why it matters to me, I don't want to deviate far from why I was brought here. Innovation and entrepreneurship in science and technology for a sustainable future really aligns with my submission for the future of entrepreneurship in Ghana. This theme and my topic are very dear to my heart, and anytime I get the opportunity to speak, I talk about entrepreneurship and the future of it. I strongly believe that there are a lot of reasons why this is important, but there are 4 that I want to really hammer on. 1, entrepreneurship is the future. Secondly, we need to move towards designing and implementing a sustainable future using relevant research to entrepreneurship. The third is the nexus of entrepreneurship and innovation for me is science and technology. And fourthly, to create a sustainable future, science and technology need to be at the epicenter of entrepreneurship in itself to be sustainable. And all this underpins the future of entrepreneurship, which my speech focuses on. Today, our society faces many challenges. Challenges that entrepreneurship through science and technology can help address whilst building a sustainable future. The ones that are relevant to my speech will be addressed today. And as I look to my right and see the youth that are coming up, those from the senior high schools, first and foremost is that we need to be aware that youth unemployment is one of the biggest challenges confronting African governments, as there seems to be limited economic opportunities for the teeming youth. According to UNESCO, the Office of the Africa International Institute for Education Planning, their article on winning the battle for youth employment, it states, and I quote, 10 million young people enter the labor markets each year in Africa. Owing to lack of appropriate skills, young people account for up to 60% of Africans' unemployment. The median age of African population is 19 and youthful. The UNESCO report further states that 50% of the population in Africa is under 25 years in Africa. According to a World Bank report, Ghana is faced with 12% unemployment, and more than 50% of the Ghanaian youth is underemployed. The public sector is faced with budget constraints in their inability to hire the huge number of graduates coming out of our universities. And that is why the research budget continues to be limited. Science, technology, and research have not been made relevant to our industry needs and demands to take advantage of our youthful resource. In essence, the world, Africa, and Ghana is grappling with many challenges. And as the World Bank report titled Youth Employment in Africa, options for effective policy making and implementation suggests, amongst others, the goal is for the future of entrepreneurship to help us address these challenges. It is worthy to note that whereas in Africa we see our teeming youth as a challenge, it is a blessing in disguise. Comparative to countries and continents such as Japan and Europe, etc., that have seen a growing aging population and a decline in youth population, a challenge they're working so hard to address. So for me, our youth challenge is our greatest asset, And why do I talk about the youth? Because we are at an academic institution where majority of the people we are imparting knowledge on are the youth. And why is the youth important for this conversation? Because for research to be relevant, we need to harness and train them to better understand how to utilize this to address the industry needs that we face. In Africa and Ghana specifically, we do have a vibrant youth who are waiting for their potential to be unlocked. It has never been clearer that the key to unlocking the potential is science, technology, and research through entrepreneurship. It is based on this that I made my earlier assertion that entrepreneurship and innovation is the nexus for science and technology. Our youth, our greatest assets, our future and their future is entrepreneurship. It will take science and technology. It will take your research to unlock the potential. In view of this, we cannot take this research week lightly, as we all work together to unlock our greatest potential and future. For entrepreneurship is really the way to go. Why do I say this and stand by this belief? The future of entrepreneurship will create jobs because government, which is the largest employer, has almost reached its saturation, if it hasn't reached that saturation point. However, all the biggest developed countries moved to entrepreneurship to be where they are now. It therefore behoves on science and technology and research to provide the needed information to help create entrepreneurs such as the unicorns of the Western world. If successfully implemented, science, technology, and research will not go unrewarded. Intellectual property owners will have to be paid to have their work used in this field. Secondly, the future of entrepreneurship will create a sustainable world. This has begun as entrepreneurs around the world are relying on research from science and technology institutions to design relevant solutions to society through innovation. To reverse engineer by even sharing African solutions to global problems through grounded research, where through the pandemic, our community health systems transformed and were used in various continents to support the pandemic. By addressing the global issues such as pandemics, climate change, and environmental degradation, using the tools that science and technology have provided. Thirdly, the future of entrepreneurship will make relevant research that has been left on our shelves for years, but are the solutions to the many challenges that society is grappling with. I will not be surprised if there are many of such research in this great institution. Now is the time. How do we partner as relevant stakeholders to take the research off the shelves, work together to devise a strategy that will transform our industries for the better? Last but not the least, the future of entrepreneurship is bright, vast, and the opportunities are endless. The only way for the future to be harnessed is if we continue to ensure that all relevant stakeholders are speaking and engaging in ways where entrepreneurship, science, and technology are all in sync. The future of entrepreneurship is partnerships, relationships, working together. This is not just about entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship infused with innovation. And the only way for this innovation to happen and be effective is when your research is infused in entrepreneurship. This is the way we can go if we intend to create a sustainable future. For innovation to take effect, as I mentioned, science and technology need to be harnessed. More and more, entrepreneurship is being led by science and technology. The research work of scientists is being commercialized to address the challenges of the future, be it in medicine, in addressing pandemics, addressing climate change, in addressing deforestation, even to a large extent, some of the challenges we face in our various communities and districts. An example in Ghana is the pharmaceutical and especially the food and beverage industry, where a lot of the research, a lot of the machinery are innovations from universities such as the KNUST that have been commercialized, where research, science, and technology in the past few years have seen a growing number of entrepreneurs utilizing this research to build industry and businesses. So how do we encourage more of that? As Professor Dadu said, in terms of getting a lot of these entrepreneurs, businesses to come together to fund research to support the transformation of our entrepreneurial ecosystem, the future of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are bringing innovation or innovative ways of addressing world issues to the forefront of their work. This is to say that for us to address the issues of sustainable future, we need entrepreneurs who are willing to do more, be innovative, who are willing to work with academia and research beyond what has been done in the past to ensure that we have achieved what society needs to stay relevant. The key is relevance and intentionality. I give a story in 2015. Whilst I was finishing up my master's degree at Harvard University, the university received a $400 million gift from a notable alumni, John Paulson. The gift was very specific. His intention was to build an engineering and applied sciences school at Harvard. For those of you who know Harvard, applied sciences and engineering is not the main focus of the institution. It is not like our brother, and actually MIT, a school that I am an alumnus as well. But the focus has always been on fine arts and business. But Paulson gave this gift and asked that the school be set up in a town called Alston, which is about 10 meters from the Boston Business School campus. And he was very specific about this. The speculation and the talk and the reason for that was he wanted the new science school, which was being sited across the business school near the entrepreneurship hub, so that the sciences would talk with business to commercialize innovation and make it more relevant. They believed that if they sited it further away from the business school, then the research would not be fully utilized. The story clearly shows you that around the world, more and more people are looking at the future of entrepreneurship and concluding that entrepreneurship is the future. But to make it whole, bringing to market and making relevant research of what scientists, researchers have been working on for years. All this to ensure that a sustainable future is not only being developed, but also being aligned with societal needs and demands with the hope of implementation by the future entrepreneurs. My colleagues and friends, I also came here to tell you that the world is changing. It has changed. We woke up one day, and it was the fastest transformational change we had ever seen in our lives. The way we've done things is not the same, and we cannot consistently do things the same way, hoping to achieve different results. To be honest, unless we get on the bandwagon and work to really institutionalize this research week, disseminate the information to wider communities and audiences, and work towards productive outcomes, then we will still continue to have a challenge ahead. The future of entrepreneurship rests on these interventions and institutions such as yours, KNUST. It is not enough to just have an idea anymore as an entrepreneur. More and more entrepreneurship is being driven to address global challenges at the changing world where science and technology are at the heart of innovation and what one seeks to do. An idea alone will not bring about the massive changes that one seeks to achieve or the world and our country Ghana is yearning for. Today gathered here are researchers, students, industry partners, all the relevant stakeholders. And it is important that the points I have mentioned sink in for all of us, that we don't leave here forgetting that one, the future of this country is entrepreneurship. The transformational changes need to happen. That we need each other and can't go about developing a sustainable future working in silos. That for entrepreneurship to survive and entrepreneurs to achieve more, we need this community. We need KNUST to thrive. We need the researchers to come up and search for relevant information that will transform us all. There must be an alignment between science, technology, research, entrepreneurship, and society. Because as the world changed, it has caused a lot of disorder in our current environment, mainly because science and technology was not speaking to business, commercializing even vaccines, commercializing supply chains that support the challenges that we face to address and build a sustainable future. Academia was not speaking to industry partners. And I blame the Ghana Enterprises Agency as well. Why have we not had the relevant conversations in terms of how academia could work through us to the industry partners to come up with relevant programming, research, to build the work in the industries that we seek? And entrepreneurs were not being set up to take advantage of the innovation in science, technology, and sector. I see that a lot, even in the businesses, the entrepreneurs that apply for support. Many of them, traders in the commerce sector, and more support going there than going towards those bringing about the innovation that will transform our society. The future of entrepreneurship thrives and will thrive on the relationships that Ghana Enterprises Agency and other partners will form here at KNUST. Science and technology, finding solutions for a sustainable future, building relevant and intentional partners. How will we achieve the future of entrepreneurship? I commit, even as Ghana Enterprises Agency, as I stand here today and listen to the relevance of why we are here, and say for us to do more and to take research and make it applicable is to find ways of working together, even at the grassroots level, to see what the real challenges and needs are so we can address these challenges. Building a pipeline for internships and even opportunities for research through the Ghana Enterprises Agency. How do we utilize the alumni within this institution, outside the institution, to support the work that we have done? I also listened, as I was carefully listening to Professor Adanu, and one of the things he talked about is data. I love data. And that was the things that I wanted to build this institution, Ghana Enterprises Agency, on. And we succeeded to a large extent. Building a data center and using that data to inform decisions that government, policymakers, and industry make. And every day I see a lot of letters coming from universities asking to use our data for research. And it's very funny because I read some of them and I'm very interested in that. Why? Because I actually believe strongly in what I have said today. The importance of research in transforming the sectors that we work in. And sometimes I ask myself when I see the topics, if this is really going to be transformational. Sometimes I ask myself if the people want to address societal problems or they're just trying to complete a degree. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the time for us to search and really think, are we asking the right questions? Are we searching for the right things? And who are we working with to achieve this? Before I end, I want to tell a story of one of our clients or beneficiaries in Wiamwase. Maybe I didn't say it properly. I get Wiamwase, yes. And this is a young man who had been unemployed and was thinking of what next to do. Now we live in a community where technology is at our fingertips. Now, what are we doing with the technology? I ask. TikTok, social media, to check the latest dances in the world, or laugh to distress, attack government. Government is the easiest prey. What are we doing with that technology? And one of the sad things I see around, especially as we go through the various districts, is the use of this technology for gambling by the youth of our nation, especially the men, where we see a decline in the number of males showing up for interventions because they would rather bet than show up for various interventions. But this young man was using it to figure out how people were producing all sorts of snacks using our local produce. And so he learned, whilst watching one YouTube, how to use corn, maize, and rice to produce a snack that people could buy. It wasn't popcorn, it's very different. And that was his aha moment. And he decided to pick this up. Now his next challenge was, how was he going to produce to perfection? He needed the tools, he needed the equipment. And so he got someone to work with him. They went through a very elaborate and innovative process. I mean, what made me admire him was that he hadn't been to university. He had just gone to school up to the senior secondary school level, but he was thinking about how science and technology could actually transform what he had seen on the YouTube video. And as you go to his factory now, he designed a tool with someone who was more knowledgeable than him to get the right quality fineness of the maize and the rice, the right quantity, and the right processing to get the right tube, to get everything right. And he enhanced the recipe and looked for someone to fabricate this processing equipment to get the right texture of the chips, the right cut, and then found the farmers who could supply him consistently. He had addressed a lot of the societal challenges and had used research, science, and technology to change and transform his life. For me, this is a simple and a clear example of an entrepreneur identifying a challenge, but without science and technology, would not have been able to implement it. However, when these pieces came together, the once unemployed youth now has a thriving business. He employs 30 people. He makes over 20,000 Ghana cedis a month and sells, and people even come and he wants to take it to other neighboring countries. This can be the story of many of our youth, especially those who are groomed by a prestigious university such as yours, supporting at the grassroots the challenges, the societal problems that we are all trying to address. The questions we need to keep asking ourselves as we leave here is, how do we move our nation to the next level? How do we utilize this research week to make our work more relevant? How do we collaborate, work together to achieve success together? We should remember that the future of entrepreneurship will be the driving force. It is through these partnerships and combinations and collaborations that we can drive and be part of the fourth industrial revolution that many speak about. And others question if Africa or Ghana will ever be part of this fourth industrial revolution, or if we will be able to attain it. It is attainable because the future lies in technology and science, and institutions such as KNUST can lead and drive this future and help us achieve what will place Ghana on a map that brings the world to us to see what we have innovated and the entrepreneurs behind it. The future of entrepreneurship in Ghana, I believe strongly, like Paulson, I wish I had $400 million to give you, but I don't, that it is attainable, that it lies at KNUST, and what forums and programs such as this can help us to bring to the fore and showcase the best way to build a sustainable future. The idea of our development is not to catch up. We've moved beyond that. It's to leapfrog and to use science and technology and implementable research that entrepreneurs can utilize so we can leapfrog. It has happened. We have leapfrogged, if that's a word. We have done it before. Mobile money is a clear example of how Africa has leapfrogged. It is important to note that in the midst of our challenges, there exist a lot of opportunities. And for those from the senior high schools who are here today, I'm sure today would be one of those days that some of you will never forget, because it got you questioning and asking and thinking, what do we do with the research that we have? That places such as KNUST, to me, is a rough jewel that need to be harnessed to place Ghana and even KNUST on the map, whilst turning the students of this great institution into the next Bill Gates or Aliko Dangotes of the world. See what Aliko Dangote did. Without science, technology, and research, Africa would not have one of the largest oil refineries in the world. We need more Aliko Dangotes. We need more Kwesis, Kwames, and Yaos, Abna, and Ajwa to be able to transform our country. Thank you for this great opportunity, and I hope that what we've spoken about today would help us realize that the future of entrepreneurship is bright, it's important, and it's relevant if we are going to stick and support the theme of transforming our economy and our nation using innovation and entrepreneurship in science and technology for a sustainable future, a future that we should all desire. Thank you very much.
A round of applause one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Mrs. Kosi Yanke-Aye, Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Enterprises Agency. We'll continue with our program. We'll take a musical interlude from Ejako, whilst we have on cue Story of OGR at 10.
One would ask, who is Koku Anansi? And why should so many stories be told about him? According to the late Fuya Sutherland, in her write-up, The Marriage of Anansi, Anansi appears to represent the kind of everyman, artistically distorted and exaggerated to serve society as a means for self-examination. And Nancy has a penetrating awareness of the psychology and the nature of human beings and animals. We are told that once he decided to collect data for his research, and that was to collect all aspects of wisdom placed in the spot, hide the tall tree. Unfortunately, he placed the pot in front of him. This made climbing difficult. So his own son, Quintin, drew his father's attention. He said, Papa, I think there has been a serious omission in your judgment. If you place the pot behind you, it will make climbing easier. And Nancy realized that all his efforts had been in vain. So in anger and frustration, he dropped the pot, it hit the ground, broke into pieces, and wisdom spread all over the world. So no nation, no people can claim monopoly of wisdom. And I would quote Professor Sir Mark Oliphant, an Australian professor. Knowledge is not wisdom. Wisdom can come only from the interplay of science and society, for the evolution of ethics, morality, and law to govern the actions of all men. Koku Donsudo, in the Fanti Apatampamu.
Thank you very much, Ejako Nimo. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to turn your attention to our screens as we showcase to you a journey of the Office of Grant and Research.
The Office of Grant and Research, OGR, is a center of excellence that provides high-quality research support services to meet the demands of ever-growing research enterprise of KNUST. The OGR manages the grant and research enterprise of the university. It was founded in 2013 out of the inspiration and leadership of Professor Peter Donko and a team comprising Professor Elise Owusu-Dabo, Professor Robert Abeidu, Professor Tony Adimado, and Dr. Nadia Tego, with support from Professor Joe Kolas and Dr. Sherry Moyi of the University of Michigan.
Hooray! I can't believe that OGR is actually 10 years old this week. 10 years ago, a couple of us decided to put together a grant to support the coordination of grantsmanship in this university. That seed is what we see today. My expectation is that this seed, which was sown 10 years ago, will move into another arena and growth that sees a lot of intellectual property arising out of our research.
The establishment of the OGR was an output of a research grant awarded to KNUST in 2009 for building capacity in emergency medicine in Ghana by Professor Peter Donko.
We were supported by the Vice Chancellor at the time, Professor William Utu Ellis, who allocated space for us and supported us in many ways. Later on, he actually made money available for us to establish the KNUST Research Fund. So OGR really has that purpose. Going forward, I'm sure that it could do with a lot more investment by the university so that the infrastructure could be improved.
In August 2017, Professor Robert Clement Abeidu was appointed the new director of OGR to build on the solid foundation laid by Professor Peter Donko.
Initiatives already started, including making sure that we have sufficient policies that are needed for efficient grantmanship. It also was also important that we targeted the young faculty for capacity building in research and management. So many of the workshops we held were in line to furnish these young researchers with the knowledge and the approaches to adopt to attract funds and conduct very meaningful, if you like, impactful research. So in a nutshell, we can all probably have experienced the fact that with the introduction of the OGR, scientists or the staff have become more familiar with grantmanship, and they're more eager to apply for grants, because anytime they step out to think of that, they know or they have in mind that there is an office that can help them to achieve their objective.
Professor Philippe Nchiaje was appointed the director of OGR in January 2022.
In terms of achievement, over the past 10 years, the Office of Grants and Research has proven itself as a center of excellence and a leader in the provision of high-quality grants and research management services in Ghana and beyond. Some of the key achievements over the period include the timely provision of grants and research support to researchers, including circulation of funding opportunities, supporting the submission of over 1,000 grants proposals, and processing of over 400 grant-related agreements. I must also stress that as an office, we have been able to produce 4 KNUST research reports, and currently we also provide intellectual property management services to our staff in order to protect their intellectual property rights. One of the things that we've been able to do very well is also the administration of KNUST Research Fund, which we normally call CREF. We've been able to administer over 150 CREF awards to different researchers across the 6 colleges of the university. In terms of looking forward, the Office of Grants and Research is building a strong team, a robust system, and sustainable operations to propel KNUST's research trajectory and global impact.
Over the past 10 years, the Office of Grants and Research has proved itself as a center of excellence and leader in the provision of high-quality grants and research management services in Ghana and beyond.
OGR have been very instrumental in helping me implement my 2 projects that I currently run in the Department of Nursing. So currently I am running 2 grants.
My research primarily focuses on infectious disease and non-communicable disease and neglected tropical disease. I've been in touch with the OGR, and the OGR is a very important office, an important component of research and research activities here at the university. Over the years, I believe they've grown from strength to strength and from level of excellence to another. One of the important things I remember of the OGR is that they have a strategic and unique mandate of helping to promote and build the capacity of young researchers and, of course, other levels of research scientists. They particularly are very much interested in organizing workshops, retreat programs that are particularly aligned to deepening and strengthening research capacity of young scientists. And I've gotten the opportunity to be part of some of these, and that have helped me significantly in my research works.
The OGR is proud to associate itself with a remarkable growth in grantsmanship and research culture among the staff of the university.
I think if we look at where we've come from and where we have reached in terms of the achievements of the Office of Grants and Research and even the entire research enterprise of the university, I think we can be proud of ourselves as a university. The Office of Grants and Research, since it was established 10 years ago and over the past years, has enhanced positively the way we conduct research, the way we manage research. We have the necessary assurances and certifications that we require. Funders trust us and continue to give us grants, huge amounts of grants to implement our research.
OGR will expand its administrative capabilities to support researchers to meet the ever-growing need for its services.
10 years down the line, it is doing very well. It is a brand name in the university. It is well known, and it is humbling to see that the small effort that we put in at the beginning has borne such fruit, and is going to get even bigger in the future.
Now the numbers are increasing. Okay, so let's hope that our results, is that right, will invoke the spirit of KNUST to give us what? A bigger place.
I'm also happy to say that in the near future, the office will expand its administrative capabilities for proposal writing to support researchers, as well as its physical infrastructure to meet the ever-growing need for its services.
I am very grateful to OGR, and I would say bravo, OGR.
I will encourage all scientists, both young and early and mid-career scientists, to get connected to the OGR office because they have the professional members that can help you to increase and improve upon your research activities.
So in celebrating these 10 years, there are many achievements that we can celebrate. Our grantsmanship has increased, our research has moved forward, and we have enhanced the reputation of the university.
We will take this one as engines of entrepreneurships and products so that the average Ghanaian would benefit from our services and research. God bless us all.
Well, that's the story of the Office of Grant and Research, and we'll have more to listen to on Thursday during the anniversary symposium. From tomorrow, there will be the scientific conference. And of course, Friday, we'll crown it all with the awards and dinner. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, without much ado, I'll now invite our special guest of honor, the chairman for the University Council, Ambassador Nana Efa Apenteng. Please, with a standing ovation, let's invite Ambassador Nana Efa Apenteng.
Good morning to everybody. Vice Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosua-Dickson, past Vice Chancellors and Pro-Vice Chancellors, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Finance Officer, Provost of Colleges, Deans and Directors, Heads of Departments, Members of Convocation, our guest speakers, directors of research centers from sister universities, senior and junior staff, presidents, Students' Representative Council, and the Graduate Students Association, members of the media, postgraduate and undergraduate students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm truly delighted to join you today for the opening ceremony and launch of the inaugural KNUST Research Week and Office of Grants and Research at 10 celebrations. This occasion fills me with great pleasure and a sense of pride as we gather here to commemorate the remarkable strides made by the university through research collaborations. I also commend highly the dedication and commitment of the organizing committee of this maiden Research Week. The choice of the theme, Innovation and Entrepreneurship in Science and Technology for a Sustainable Future, is apt. This is because these are challenging times marked by the outbreak of pandemics, environmental destruction, such as galamsey, and soaring unemployment. The nation looks up to our researchers to help find solutions to the problems confronting us. I believe this celebration will bring together some of the nation's top researchers to exchange ideas and discuss strategies for further enhancing the state of scientific research in our country. As a university, KNUST fully recognizes the centrality of its research mandate and actively seeks to maintain a vibrant research and scholarly enterprise. It is on this note that I want to assure you that Council would fully support management in sourcing funding for research undertakings of the university. I would also want to charge management of the university to increase the budgetary allocation towards supporting research and innovation endeavors, with particular emphasis on empowering youth researchers to embark on developmental research activities aimed at solving pressing societal problems and enhancing the lives of our citizens. Finally, I want to see this celebration becoming an annual affair on the university academic calendar. This event will not only serve as a platform for showcasing cutting-edge research, but also foster an enabling environment for the development of science and technology in our nation. On behalf of the University Council, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Vice Chancellor and her management team for the foresight to initiate this important conference where we take stock and showcase our various innovative research. I commend the relentless efforts and dedication of our researchers for the impressive array of research innovations, especially in the light of limited resources. To our external donors, we say thank you for the confidence reposed in this university and providing continued support to our researchers. The Office of Grants and Research also deserves special recognition for leading the charge and facilitating the growth of grants and research enterprise across the university. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, finally, let me take this opportunity to wish our researchers and students a remarkable KNUST Research Week and OGR at 10 celebrations. On this note, I declare the KNUS Research Week and the OGR at 10 celebrations duly launched. Long live KUST, long live Mother Ghana. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. I'd like, Council Chair, if you don't mind, you can stand behind. I'd like the Vice Chancellor to join, Registrar, Finance Officer, Director of OGR, our two guest speakers, Prof. Donko, please join us. Prof. Ibok, please come by. Father Na, can you say a prayer over our cake for us?
So we cut this anniversary cake in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much. Yes, please. Unless we can have a piece. Did we cut the cake? Oh, there was a little cut.
We cut it.
Eddie. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful cake, and yeah, it's research books. So you can imagine, hardcover. It's hardcover. Kindly wait outside. We'll share the cake. Everybody will have a piece and taste the success of OGR. I'm going to call Professor Mrs. Ibok Enodro, the chairperson for the Research Week Planning Committee, to do us the honor of the vote of thanks. A round of applause for her.
Good morning. Nana, I want to take permission that you allowed me to stand on the established protocol. It's a beautiful morning and a wonderful day. And you will agree with me that we've had a very good celebration. I'm sure you will agree that it's been an exciting and a successful opening and launch of the Research Week and the 10th anniversary of the Office of Grant and Research. And today, we have set the stage for a memorable Research Week. And we want to say thank you, Daddy, for making it possible and seeing us through to this point. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Ambassador Nana Efa Penting, the chairman of the University Council for making time to grace this occasion. Please, can we give him a round of applause? Our very dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosua-Dickson, you have brought into KNUST an engine of growth, a research enterprise. You have walked the talk, including spearheading this maiden research week and ensuring that all the resources required make it a reality. Can we give her a celebration? We are very grateful. We would like to thank the Pro-Vice Chancellor, who is the chair of OGR board, who started with us at the wellness meetup. We had a wellness meetup and we enjoyed ourselves. You miss it. You miss it. Watch it. Watch it. We started with health. And you can see me very healthy, isn't it? On Saturday, and for his crucial role throughout this process, Pro-Vice Chancellor, we celebrate you. Oh, I think Professor Mekuji was there. Can we clap for him? Our esteemed past Vice Chancellor and Pro-Vice Chancellors, we cherish your continuous and unwavering support. Thank you for joining us this morning. We would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to our registrar, Mrs. Andrew Kwesi Boateng, for just being, you know, some people are behind the scene, putting words here and there. We don't see them. And there are some of those who release the money. And you can see they are only present when our finance officer was behind. When we send the budget, they will cut and rearrange and all. We want to thank them. Can we clap for them, please, for facilitating the process. Provosts of colleges, directors, deans, and heads of department, your vital contribution to the planning and execution of the research week cannot explain. I'm so excited. We are deeply grateful to you. Our cherished guest speakers, I was just admiring both of you, speaking the heart of research, speaking the heart. Most people don't know what you said is the heart. And because you have spoken the heart, I hope that our hands will begin to respond. The hand must respond. It cannot stay on the shelf. Now I want us to celebrate them for speaking the heart of research. I picked something that science must speak to business. Science must do what? Speak. It's business. That's the heart of moving forward. Guest speakers, we're extremely grateful. Professor Richard Adenu and Mrs. Kosi Yankiaye. Don't you see her? She looks very beautiful. You didn't see that? You didn't see that. To our valued researchers and to all staff of the university, this research week would not exist without your continued effort and diligence. We are deeply grateful. We would also like to thank the president, the executive members of the Graduate Student Association. Are you here? And the Student Representative Council and the student body for your contribution and presence. Our colleagues from sister universities, collaborators, and invited guests, special thanks to you for participating in this week's program. We want to appreciate our young ladies and young men. You are today, not future. I'm seeing you beginning to drive this together as science continues to speak with business. So we celebrate Gisuman Senior High School and KNUST Senior High School. Can we clap for them for joining us? To members of the 3 planning committee, really when Professor Danu talks about teamwork, I could see scientific conference, OGR at 10 symposium, research excellence. This was a teamwork. We have started, Prof. And I want to clap for them because they came together and make sure what you're seeing today would be a success. Can we clap for these committee members? The staff of OGR, Unit, URO, UPK, Tech TV, E-Learning Center, all of you, teamwork, that's the way forward. And I want to thank our beloved, where's Anita? Anita, why are you there? Want to thank Anita for spearheading all this. Everyone, we celebrate you. I can't call all the names, but I'm excited looking at your faces, so beautiful. Finally, on that note, we will enjoy it together. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Prof. Ibok. Thank you so much. The week has just begun. Please participate. The scientific conference will be on at the KSB Block C. We'll come back on Thursday for the OGR Attend Symposium, and we'll be here Friday evening as well. The make or break. It's going to be an interesting night. So be in your best and get your dancing shoes whilst you're coming as well. Even if you don't win, we'll still dance. We'll still dance. Even if you don't win, we'll still get to dance. Convocation, senior members will be refreshed at the Senior Staff Club after this program. Students remain behind. You get your item. It's very necessary, so please remain behind. I'm going to call Father Na to help us with the closing prayer. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
May I please beg your indulgence to please rise for prayers. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Almighty and ever-living God, we are so much grateful to you for the gift of our lives. We thank you for this opportunity to celebrate our 10 years of showcasing what research is capable of doing for our dear nation and also bettering our lot in industry. We thank you for this moment, and we thank you for all that has happened here. We thank you for the gift of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We thank you for what you continue to use us to achieve for humanity. We thank you for the management, the council. We thank you for the staff, our students, our partners, collaborators, and stakeholders, and all those who love and care for us and ensure that what we do here will be for the benefit of humanity. We say that all these blessings are from you, and because of that we say thank you. As we thank you, so do we also pray in a very special way for the Office of Grants and Research. We thank you for our past directors and our current directors. We thank you for the founding fathers, and we thank you for the 10 years of existence. It is our prayer that our hope to build a sustainable future on the wheels of innovation, research, industry, and entrepreneurship will be a reality for each and every one of us. May we all buy into this idea and contribute our quota to it. We entrust the week-long activities to your care. Be with us, and all that we do, may research, may science be able to speak with industry and society and make our dear nation great and strong. May we enjoy your blessings and favors in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much. We'll take the photos at the VIP station stairs. Can we have the URO spearhead that? But we'll all be upstanding as we have Ambassador, the Vice Chancellor, and our invited guests take leave of us. We'll take our pictures at the VIP station stairs. Thank you very, very much for coming. Students, please remain here for your refreshments. Convocation senior member staff will be at the Senior Staff Club for refreshment. Senior Staff Club for refreshment. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming, and have a good day.